Company Limited is a high-tech enterprise specializing in the production and sales of dental medical instruments. It is located in the historical and cultural city of Foshan. The factory is located in the Guangdong New Light Source Industry Base. Since its establishment in 2003, we have a vision of being a respected dental enterprise, with the core values of commit to unite and work hard, advance with heart for love. As guidelines, down to earth, continuous innovation, and advancement, the company has introduced hundreds of precision CNC centers and testing equipment from Japan, South Korea, and Germany, leading the production scale and processing accuracy in China. At the same time, we gave full play to intelligence-developed specialized equipment for ourselves and greatly improved the quality and efficiency of operations. The company spent a lot of money to purchase some professional laboratory equipment, built a top-ranking laboratory in China, and was awarded the title of Guangdong Provincial Oral Medical Device Engineering Technology Research Center. COXO has a wide product line and provides dentists with a full range of product support. The core products are dental implant system, endo motors, root canal apex locator, obturation system, dental high and low speeds, etc. Excellent products are inseparable from excellent management and excellent employees. COXO has more than 300 employees, including more than 30% of professional and technical personnel. From research and development to production, from inspection to storage, every product of COXO has been carefully crafted and strictly controlled. The quality department is equipped with advanced precision testing equipment. Specialists of quality control engineer strictly control the quality of each link, and all employees participate in quality improvement. The full implementation of ISO quality system management, strict implementation of documented procedures to ensure product quality foolproof. Since 2012, COXO has continued to conduct more than 100 modern root canal therapy free tour training. The number of dentists trained has reached more than 20,000, and it has made contributions to improving the level of dental root canal treatment in China. In recent years, the root training of COXO has stepped out of China, landing in many countries. COXO organizes Factory Opening Day every month, holds Global Distributor Annual Meeting every year, and continues to participate in a number of international professional dental exhibitions. In contact with dentists and distributors, bring COXO products and services to all the world. More than a decade of dream building, one step at a time, with fruitful results. COXO's various products have achieved National Relevant Qualification Certification, EU CE certification, obtained more than 50 patents, and won the title of National High-Tech Enterprises. Many products won the title of high-tech products. COXO has won wide recognition for its excellent product quality and perfect service. Its core products market share ranks among the forefront of its domestic counterparts. Its customers are in more than 120 countries and regions, and it has established good cooperation with many world-renowned companies. Great ideals need to work hard. Many years of innovation and development. Never forget the beginning of the heart. COXO will strive to become a leading company in the dental medical industry, with a higher starting point, facing the world, facing the future, and making unremitting efforts.
Hello everyone, welcome to join our COXO free webinar again. This is Chess. We are glad to invite Dr. Abu from IlIraqi to this course. By the way, this COXO free webinar, we prepare a certificate for dentists who join our course. The first step, follow and like the COXO page. And the second, leave your comment or question below the live video. At the end of the live, we will share the form link to the comment below the live video. Please open the link and fill the form and submit to apply for the certificate. After the 3 steps all done, in Friday you will receive PDF formal certificate in your email. And please know, the form application can be filled only one time, and we will available for only 5 hours after the lecture. 5 hours later, the application channel will be closed. After that time, we will not accept any application. Please fill the form as soon as possible after the webinar. The form cannot be modified. Please make sure the information you left are correct. We also have the exclusive distributor in Iraq. If Iraq dentists interested in our product, please contact our distributor, Shiny Dental. Okay, now it's a webinar. Hello, Dr. Abu.
Hello, how are you?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can.
How are you? You good?
To take time to share your good experience for our dentist friend. And you might our dentist friend need to comment on our video during the course, then you can have a chance to get our gift. What is the best question prize? Please put your question below the live video. And Dr. Abu will answer your question and pick up the best one. The person,
okay, I will.
Yes, have the first question will get our special gift, 3 sets or SC course into 5. And the second, we will choose the special dentist. You need to comment on the video during the live. Then you have the chance to get our special gift. And in today's webinar, the special gift also is a 3 set SC core enterprise. Dr. Abu, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. Let
So
me share
now
my
it's
screen.
time for Dr. Abu to begin the course.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Great. Good morning, good evening, everybody in any spot in the world, whether you are in China or Middle East or in Europe, Africa, or anywhere. Today I have very interesting and nice lectures. By the way, I'm a key opinion leader for the great company COXO, and I think this is the last webinar I have with them this year. This lecture is going to be very interesting lecture, because in all of the cases I will present, it's kind of thinking out of the box. It will be purely or totally clinical cases. I will not talk too much theory, or let me be frank with you, because all the cases presented here are purely or totally clinical. Let me share this webinar on my account before we start, so we can have COXO. Okay. Did you share this in your page, or Chess? Hello?
Yes,
You hear me? Yes. How can I share this? Because I cannot see my. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm sharing it. Okay, let's start with the first case. Autogenous transplantation. I have this case, body decay, lower 7, with horizontally impacted lower 8 on the right side of the jaw. For a female patient, was like, I think it was 20 or 22 years old. As you can see, the lower 7 is almost unrestorable, as you can see from the X-ray. The option was is to extract the lower 7 and then replace it by an implant. But I gave the patient another idea. I told her, how about if we can extract the lower 8, the lower 7, and replace it by the horizontally impacted lower 8, which is already useless. The patient accepted the idea, and we started the operation. With the help of my great surgeon, Dr. Saif Ali, he was with me. He started, as you can see, this is the horizontal impacted lower 8, and this is another view. So what he did a traumatic extraction for the lower 7, and at the same time he opened a flap. As you can see, a traumatic extraction of the lower 7, and he atraumatically extracted the lower 8. As you can see, we saved the tooth at the saliva, which is considered as a good saving media. We can do endo at this visit for the lower 8, but we don't want to leave the tooth outside the socket too much time. The more you leave the tooth outside the socket, the less the prognosis. So we decided to re-implant it again and put it in the socket of the lower 7. One of the advices in such cases is to keep the tooth as short as possible outside of the pocket, which is the maximum time, as I remember, is 15 minutes. And then we should not provoke the osteoclasts in the socket of the lower 7. How do we provoke it? By scratching the socket wall of the lower 7. Once you scratch the bone, then the osteoclast will be ready to start the resorption process. So we did not touch the socket wall of the lower 7. We did put it again in the socket of the lower 7. Here you can see the process ongoing. And then we check the occlusion and we suturing it. You can stabilize it with two ways. Either you stabilize it with the suture, or you can stabilize it with composite and wire, as you like, and we check the occlusion. What happened after we did this? We have the corona pandemic, so the patient disappeared. As you can see, this is immediately after autogenous transplantation. As I told you, we have endemic corona, so the patient disappeared and did not come. As you can see here, the time is, it was September 2019. She just came for suture removal after a few days, and then you can see here 7th of October, and she came later on after like 20 days. As you can see, we have big space between the bone and the mesial root, and then starts the healing process. No space between the bone and the mesial root. As I told you, the patient disappeared. You can see the time here, 27th of November, and then she came back after like 5 months because of corona pandemic. So as you can see, now we have a lesion in the apical area of the lower 7. What I did access opening. I clean and shape the root canal system, and I put non-setting calcium hydroxide inside the root canal system. This is very important, especially if you want to stop the resorption process. And this is after obturation. How long it was? After 2 months, this is obturation. As you can see, we have good attachment between the bone and the PD ligament, no space, almost no space between the root and the bone, and the healing is ongoing. And here, as you can see, the tooth is functional, everything is fine, no caries, no movement, no mobility, everything sounds good. But after 5 months, there was slight resorption at the apical root of the apical part of the distal root, but it is okay, and still the tooth is functional, and fix is good, and the tooth is still today still functional, but the patient has slight caries here. She needs to do it. Okay, so this is the first case. I consider this case very great case, one of the great cases I've ever done with my colleagues, Dr. Saif, in my career. A very rare case, rarely seen on social media and even rarely seen on textbooks. Yes, it was documented many times, but it's not that much. Okay. Second case is intentional replantation. It's almost mixed between surgery and the conservative. As you can see here in this case, body decayed tooth has a history of a previous endodontic treatment. We have perforation, we have overfilling, we have nest canal, we have many things. So restoring this tooth in conservative way was challenging, and frankly speaking, I could not do it. The mesial system was totally calcified. We have perforation, we have overfilling. So we decided to do another approach. The approach was to extract the tooth, do apical surgery while the tooth is outside the socket, and then reimplant it again. As you can see in the video, I'm sorry for the interruption. Not sure because of the internet or the processor of my computer. As you can see, we have perforation, we have totally calcified nasal root. So Dr. Saif Ali, again, I'm very thankful for him. He did atraumatic extraction for the upper 6. As you can see, a trauma extraction by our great surgeon, Dr. Saif. We gave a lot of time for a traumatic extraction, otherwise the whole process will be messed up. Okay, we saved the tooth in Hang's ballast salt solution. We did resection for the apical part of the all roots, whether apical, distobucal, or mesial system. And the tooth is totally immersed in the Hang's ballast salt solution. It works as a saving media to save the PD ligament and cells. Now time for microsurgery. This is the tip from action. We are creating a space in the apical part of the root. Time for MAP1 system. And for the surgery, sorry, for the MTA placement. Here I'm putting the MTA. Bench it out. Sorry. Okay, we did re-implant it again, and we did suturing for it. It is 2 weeks after surgery, 1 month after surgery, okay, 4 months after surgery. This is the prep. This is 5 months after surgery. And this is just meat, healthy gum and ready for crown cementation. So we gave the tooth another chance to live. We could do extraction and implant, but why not if you try it another way, thinking out of the box, thinking another way, and the tooth is still functional. By the way, we did the same procedure for the same patient for the other side of the jaw. It was the upper right side, and this is after extraction and resection and MTA filling, and this is 1 month later, and this is 2 days later, and the tooth is still functional and working. I don't know why the patient disappeared and did not do a crown for the tooth, but the tooth is still functional. Okay, I would like to thank Dr. Saif, my great surgeon. We are working as a teamwork, working together with the difficult cases. Okay. The second thing is obturation of weight canal with MTA. In the past, we used to obturate we use not to obturate the weight canal unless it is dry. And if you can see any textbook who recommend to do obturation only for dry canal, not for wet canal. And this is one of the reasons for the failure of the root canal system. When you're doing obturation while the canal is wet. Canal is wet, it means there's still infection. Still infection, that means that you will have post-treatment disease and the failure might come later on. So, the great Professor Yoshi Toroshi, he came to Iraq last year, and he came with another opinion. He says you don't need to wait. You don't need to put calcium hydroxide inside the canal and get a dry canal. As I know, sometimes you need to wait for 2 visits or 3 visits, and I remember I had a case. I had to wait for 9 or 10 visits, and I could not get a dry canal. And I was replacing calcium hydroxide every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, but unfortunately I could not get a dry canal. So what to do in such cases? In such cases, you have only one option. You have to go for surgery. Professor Yoshi Toroshi, he has another opinion. He says, well, you can obturate weight canal, oozing canal, but you have to obturate it with the MTA and let the MTA to cross or to pass over the apical foramen and be in contact with the lesion. As you can listen here to Professor, I did this great meeting with this great Professor Yoshi Toroshi. I'm sorry, I'm not sure. Okay, is it working? I'm sorry. Is it still working? Okay. Let me check. Okay. Sorry, wait a second. I don't know why it's not working. Oh. I don't know why it's not. Okay, what Professor Yoshi said if you have wet canal, you don't need to wait. You can obturate the whole system with the MTA. The easiest way to do this is to by putting the MTA, the powder and liquid, after you mix it in a creamy way, make it like creamy or liquid. You can put it on the orifice, and then you can insert it inside the root canal system with the master apical file, and you put the speed of your endomotor 200 from 150 to 200 round per minute, and minimize the torque to 1.5 if you want, in counterclockwise with the master apical file on the working length. So the rotary file will deliver the MTA up to the apical foramen. As you can see in these cases, all these cases has wet canal, and I could not get a dry canal from the first and second and even the third visit. So I moved to the Yoshi method, which is obturating the whole system with the MTA. As you can see here, nice healing. Okay, another cases. I stayed with this case is like 8 visits, and I could not get a dry canal. But later on, when I did obturate the canal while it was still wet with MTA, I got nice healing, as you can see here. Another case, it was very wet canal. I could not get it dry. It was frankly or literally oozing, pulsating with the heartbeats, as you can see in the next video. And I obturated the whole system with the MTA, and it works, as you can see in this video. Here you can see I have pulsating canal or pulsating oozing canal, very wet canal. I could not get a dry canal. I'm sucking it, trying to dry it, but I still get wet canal. As you can see, second paper point, third paper point, fourth paper point, still wet. Again and again, still could not get dry canal. So what should I do? Do I have to keep placing calcium hydroxide and recall the patient every 2 weeks? As you can see, I'm putting MTA, and it's still oozing with the presence of the MTA. So what I decided to do again is to follow the Yoshi protocol. Keep pushing MTA little bit beyond the apex. As the MTA, here is, as you can see, I'm packing it with the plugger. And with the help of the rotary file, as you can see here, here's C-Smart iPilot. I made the speed 150 and the torque 1.5 counterclockwise, and actuate with MTA. As you can see, the canal is still wet. I'm drying it. Put another increments of the MTA. Again, endomotor in action. C-Smart iPilot. With the master apical file, counterclockwise, the speed is 150 or 200 and the torque 1.5. Again and again, till I fill the whole system with MTA. As you can see, this is immediately after obturation, and after 8 months you can see I'm getting nice healing. So what I need to say, if you could not get a dry canal from the first appointment or even second appointment, you may try the Yushi method or Yushi protocol. Obturate the whole system with the AMTA, powder and liquid. You don't need to wait to get a dry canal. This is what Yushi now is advising and recommending. Okay? The fourth interesting case is revitalization. In the past, if we have young age patient with a trauma or necrotic cases and the apex is open and we have thin dentinal wall and we have a questionable root crown ratio, in the past we used to go for apexification or filling the whole system with the MTA. Nowadays, with the emergence of the stem cells technology, getting benefit from the stem cells technology, we can initiate the growth of the apical part of the root and even increasing the thickness of the root with the help and the aid of stem cells. Let's see this video. As you can see, young patient, non-vital, open apex and dentinal wall, questionable crown ratio. I'm irrigating after isolation and axis opening with full concentration sodium hypochlorite, full strength. Doing simple scrubbing for the root canal system, just removing the layers on the inner wall of the canal. Water determination. I'm drying it with paper point. And now I'm putting calcium hydroxide non-setting only on cervical part. Only in cervical part. Don't let the calcium hydroxide to come in contact with the apical tissue. Otherwise it will kill the stem cells. After 2 weeks, another isolation. Do not give anesthesia with adrenaline, a plain anesthesia or even without anesthesia. Irrigating with normal saline and then only EDTA. No need to irrigate with the hypochlorite in the next visits. Drying. Now time. I'm using C Smart iPilot, increasing the speed up to 1000 RPM and the torque is 1 or 1.5. Now I'm initiating the blood from the apical tissue, apical part of the canal. Let the root canal system fill with the blood up to the orifice of the canal, as you can see. Now to stop the bleeding and making a scaffold for the MTA, we put colla sponge or resorbable collagen sponge. As you can see, and my favorite MTA, Oxford MTA, is made in Germany. I'm putting 3mm increments of MTA, this powder and liquid, hand mixed. Just above the gelatin sponge. Another increment. Again, adapting it with micro brush, micro applicator, sterile one. And then you may cover it directly with glass enamel cement or a flowable composite as you like, and you can rebuild the tooth. Same session if you want. I'm putting MTA only on cervical part. As you can see, okay, now I can notice the growth of the apical part of the root. Few months later, again, few months later, and then 1 year later, you can see how I did get the growth of the apical part of the root canal system. And this is the last. You can see how we did preserve the tooth and increasing the length and the thickness of the dentine. This is a very interesting case. One of the cases, I'm proud of it. Okay, as you can see here, we started in November 21, and in February 23, full growth of the root canal, for the root, and increasing the thickness of the dentine. This is amazing cases, and we can make use of the stem cells. So this is a precious blessing from the God that one can make use of it. Because if you can see at the left side of the monitor here of this case, you can see the apex was totally open, short root. The length of the root is almost equal to the length of the crown, and I have thin dentinal wall. After 2 years, less than 2 years, you can see how we had this nice growth, nice dentine thickness, and the tooth now is much stronger than before. This is the steps, but it needs a very cooperate patient, commitment patient, so you can follow up the case. One of the way of approaches of such cases, you can fill the whole root canal system with MTA, which is, this approach is done by Professor Taran Nahlawi. I will show his case. But before we go for Dr. Taran Nahlawi, I would like to thank the great professor Marco Martignoni, which is I'm proud of being one of his attendants of his lecture in Egypt and Dubai, and I did a great course for him in Baghdad this year, and he will be again here in Iraq very soon. He gave me few words in less than 90 seconds how to do revitalization, and I follow his protocol, and I got that result you saw just a few seconds ago. By the way, there is no strict protocol for revitalization. You will see different protocols. Some they don't use calcium hydroxide, instead they're using triple antibiotics. Some they don't use full strength of hypochlorite, instead they use 2% of hypochlorite. Some use XP shaper for initiating blood, some using pre-bend K-file 15 or 20 to initiate the blood at the apical part. But all agree that this procedure should be done under isolation. This procedure should be done, especially the second visit, without anesthesia, or if you are giving anesthesia, you should not give anesthesia with adrenaline. This was made 4 years ago.
So one appointment, cleaning, shaping of the canal,
Okay. This is a great case done by Professor Tal Nahlawi. He had same problem. Necrotic tooth, young patient, questionable root-crown ratio, open apex tendinal wall. So he had an option to do revitalization, but he chose to do it in other way. I do respect him very much, and but the question is, we still have questionable root-crown ratio. The dentinal wall is still thin. We did not have closure of the apical part of the apex. Well, when I asked him and we argued with him about this case, why he did not go for revitalization, he gave his own opinion, and I do respect him very much, but I don't disagree with him. It is one of the approaches, but what I think it is not the best approach for such cases. As you can see, this is what he said. Revascularization treatment plan could be better treatment choice, but unfortunately in this case it was not applicable, as it needs patient cooperation, understanding, especially for the potential failure and added time and cost. Well, I don't think we have added time. The time only for follow-up. As in this case, by the way, he has a follow-up for 5 years, and as he said, he told me that the tooth is functional. But I don't think it is, we need time. It is only 2 sessions. This is one. Second cost, I would think it is same cost of the root canal. I don't think it is that much different. Okay. Patient cooperation, I do agree with him, patient cooperation. But at the end, it's almost the same, the cooperation for the revitalization. Because even in such case, you can give a block anesthesia and you can control the whole work, which is quite different when you are working on the anterior area where you have to give anesthesia directly above the tooth to control pain. Anyway, I do respect him very much, and I do respect his approach. He is our great professor, and I would like to greet him from this lecture. And you can follow the nice discussion and argument about this case on the group, and this is the link if you are interested. Okay. We have another amazing and interesting cases, which is orthodontic extrusion. I had a patient came to my clinic. I know his family. I'm treating all of his family. He has car accident, so he break the central and he break the lateral incisor. We did composite filling for the central, and now time to treat the lateral incisor. The option which is given to the patient is to extract the tooth and to do implant, but he refused. He begged me to do whatever I can to save this tooth. I told him we can do orthodontic extrusion, but this is going to take a long time. He says, I agree, please do not extract my tooth. Do your best to save this tooth. And I discussed with him the whole treatment planning and the time and the cost, and he agreed. This is at the time he came to my clinic. We did composite filling for the central. It was still vital. The pulp is still vital. And maybe in the future, the central might need endo. This is occlusal view. You can see the palatal part of the lateral incisor totally below the gum and even at the level of the bone. What I did, I'm not orthodontist. I don't understand too much in orthodontic, and I have never practicing orthodontics before. That's why I have in my clinic very smart, intelligent orthodontist in my clinic. She is handling the orthodontic cases. But in this case, we can do it. This is any GP, any general practitioner can do it. Very simple. You need only flowable composite, etching, bonding, and fiber post. You need to cut the fiber post and measure the length or the width of the space between the canine and the central. And after you do root canal treatment for the lateral, you cement fiber post with the flowable composite or core or whatever cementing material or resin cement in that way, and then this is another view, and then you cement the fiber post in the other way. This is another view, and by the help of the power chain you can extract or do extrusion for the lateral incisor. This is another view, and this is after 6 months. What a nice results, what a nice ferrule, what a nice tooth structure we got above the gingiva. By the way, we can do it another way. You can do intentional extraction, but not let the tooth to come all the tooth outside the socket. You can extract the tooth very gently, automatic extraction, but don't let the tooth to come out of the socket, and pull it upward a little bit, and you can fix it with the composite and arch wire. But this technique is not that guaranteed, as you may get resorption. So this is another view, this is occlusal view, and this is after cementation. I'm happy, the patient happy, and everyone is happy. And this is the obturation of the root canal system. Okay, I'm not totally satisfied with the gum because this is immediately after insertion. I think nowadays, if I recall the patient, I would get better gingiva and better color. Last case, which is very interesting case. Most of the cases, or 2 or 3 cases I have shown, could be controversial, especially this one. This case came to my clinic in 2016. She had old composite filling, and she has sensitivity. We decided to go for root canal treatment at that time. So I did root canal treatment. And I put a screw at the distal root at that time, and this was a big mistake. Well, please, my colleagues, molar teeth does not need metal screw, metal post, or even fiber post. The pulp chamber is more than enough to retain the core material. No need to put any screw, so whether it is metal or fiber post, in the root canal system, whether nasally or distally. The pulp chamber is more than enough to retain the core material. And this was a fatal mistake. What I did, I put a screw on the distal root of the lower 6. In 2023, after 7 years, the patient came with pain on biting, and we have sinus tract, and she is not happy, and she has pain. So we gave her 2 options: either to extract the whole tooth and do implant, or we do hemisection. We extract the distal root and keep the mesial root. Hopefully we do crowning on the mesial root. But we gave her another option. Yoshi, again, I like Yoshi too much. As an endodontist, I own too much, and every endodontist in the world should owe to the Yoshi too much. He changed the game. He gave a lot. He taught us a lot. He said, you may use MTA to fill the whole root canal system with MTA. Hopefully, the MTA will seal the cracks or even the fracture, the vertical root fracture. So this is the time when the patient came to my clinic. How did I know this is vertical root fracture? Simply, I have endotooth amalgam restoration, and I have a screw. Here you can see the screw. This treatment was done by me 7 years ago. I'm not satisfied that much with this treatment, but we are learning and keep learning. And you can see that the sinus tract is not at the apical part. The sinus tract is almost coronally, and we have J-shape radiolucency, which gives us a hint or impression that this tooth has vertical root fracture. So after discussing the treatment plan with the patient, and we gave her all the possibilities, she agreed to the treatment. So what I did, what I did, I removed all the Gatti-Perka from the distal system, and at that time I did not have MTA in my clinic, but I had biodentine. So I decided to fill the whole root canal system with biodentine. You know, there's not much difference between the biodentine and the MTA as a composition. So I filled the whole root canal system of the distal root with the biodentine, and I used ultrasonic to make the biodentine to vibrate and infiltrate to all, so whether major or minor tracts or even the vertical fracture lines. So here you can see, this is at the day, this is after treatment, after 2 weeks of treatment. As you can see, the sinus start disappear after 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks. And this is after, how long this? This is after 10 days. This is after 1 month. And this is after, 14 days. And this is after, here we go. This is after 2 months, as you can see here. Look at the apical part of the distal root. Now I'm getting bone. I'm getting healing. And this is at July. Again, look at the distal root. I had a big lesion. You can compare before I start and when I started. Let me just take this. Sorry, I have. Okay. Take this one. Again, look at the pre-op and post-op. After 5 months of a treatment, I got healing, I got bone, and if God willing, and I'm quite sure of this tooth will survive. This tooth will survive. So again, thinking out of the box, thinking another way, we could save this tooth. The science is changing. Every day or every month we have new materials, new approaches, new protocols. So please do not stick to old school. Please always update your information. Look for the new. Ask. Attend courses. Keep reading. Keep updating yourself. You will be different. And this is the difference between the old school and the new school. This is the vertical root fracture. Fortunately, I have the best CBCT in my clinic, so I can discover such a crack or vertical root fracture. Again, thank you so much. This is Morita CBCT. Thank you so much for attending this nice webinar, and I'm ready to answer any question. And I would like to thank Dr. Saif for the teamwork together in our clinic, and I would like to thank my great mentor, Dr. Prof. Yoshi Tirashi and Professor Marco Martinioni. We will see him very soon in Iraq in October. Okay, thank you so much. I'm ready for any question. Chess, are you there? I'm done. Hello? Yes. What is the difference of meaning of superficial pulpotomy today and partial pulpotomy? Superficial, I don't know what you mean by superficial pulpotomy. I do partial pulpotomy. I know total pulpotomy. Partial pulpotomy is to remove small part of the pulp, horn and the neighboring area, while total pulpotomy is to remove the whole pulp from the conal part of the crown. I don't know what you mean by superficial anatomy. What is the next question? Let me see. Question, do I have comments? Is calcium hydroxide the ideal dressing between treatment session? Well, same claim it is ideal, same claim that triple antibiotics could be better. Nowadays, Angelos company has a great alternative. It is calcium silicate. dressing and have very good results on the prognosis. I will post some cases in coming days if God willings. How long does a tooth need to re-evaluate? Well, this is a hard question, but as long as you can recall the patient, you can recall him after 3 months, 6 months. For what? For revitalization or for vertical root fracture or what? It depends. It depends. But you can recall him every 3 months or 6 months. Is there a apical lesion beneath the tooth? Can we do extrusion immediately after endo treatment, or we should wait until the healing of the bone occurs? Well, if I understand your question, you need to say that can we start extrusion before endo treatment or after endo treatment? Well, this question would be better answered by orthodontist. But for me, I would go for extrusion after root canal treatment. Tariq, please, why irrigate EDTA in second visits? This is very nice question. Very nice question. Why do not we irrigate with the hypochlorite in the next session or visits? Well, the EDTA will move or will provoke will move the smell layers and will provoke the stem cells from the inner dentinal wall. These cells will come in contact with the apical tissue, and the stem cells and the apical tissue. So this is very important steps for promoting osteogenesis. Hypochlorite cannot do that. Hypochlorite, if it come in contact with the apical tissue, it might kill the stem cells. So this technique is very sensitive. Be very cautious when you do revitalization. Please do not let the hypochlorite to come in contact with the stem cells and the apical tissue, and even calcium hydroxide, don't let it to come in contact with the stem cells and the apical tissue. What is the other question? You mean, does the extrusion affect the healing case? I don't know. But I would like to do root canal treatment. Again, Dr. Hassan Al-Amalji, I'm not orthodontist, and I don't like to answer instead of them. Such a question might be preferably go for the orthodontist. He is the best, can give you better answer than me. Hello, sir. If a blunderbuss canal with sinus duct formation in young patients, so what should be preferred treatment? Apixogenesis, revascularization, how long? Okay, this is a very nice question. So, apixogenesis is a general term. Okay, revascularization is a part of this term. So, if it is sinus tract, that means it is necrotic. If you have long root and thick dentinal wall, you can go directly for apixification. But if you have short root, open apix, thin dentinal wall, young patient, I would go for revitalization. I hope I answered you. Tarif Hamash, thank you, doctor. Can we mix MTA with zinc oxide to fill the canal? Why we should do that? No, I'm not recommend this, and I dislike totally with this technique. Why zinc oxide? MTA, I want to make full use of MTA. No, I don't go for this. What's the easier way to handling MTA? Well, the easiest way is the Yushi technique. Is to use, in which cases? For the open apex or for the wet canal? For the open apex, you may use the X-rays, the pluggers, the MAP1 and X-rays, and by the aid of the collagen barrier to stop extrusion of the MTA beyond the apex. But for the wet canal, you may use the master apical file for the full working length, counterclockwise, speed 150 to 200 RPM with a torque 1.5 to 2 Newton, counterclockwise. Okay. Cheers, do we have other question? Scalcium hydroxide dressing. Okay, let me see. Dima Talib, what Why without adrenaline? This is another nice question. Why without adrenaline? You mean for revitalization? Why without adrenaline? Because adrenaline will cause vasoconstriction, and we need the blood in this process. We need to provoke blood and shake the blood. If you give adrenaline, you will not get the blood in the apical tissue, so you don't get the stem cells. Okay. Very nice, great work, thank you. How long does a tooth need to re-evaluate? Again, I told you, as long as you can recall the patient. Best medium to place extracted tooth outside the oral cavity. Best medium is the Hanks balanced salt solution, Hanks HBSS. Unfortunately, it is not available too much and it's very expensive. I think half liter will be over $50. Okay, do we have other questions? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Chess, are you there, Chess? How do you deal with the discoloration after empty obturation case of anterior teeth? This is another nice question. Well, as usual comment, the best material for the regeneration is the biodentine to avoid the discoloration. If you have it, if you use MTA and you got discoloration, then you may go for internal bleaching, or in the future you may go for the veneer or even a crown. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed Uthman. Okay, do we have another question? Hello, from where? From where? Which flag is this? Dahman, Nath, which flag is from Somalia or where? Which flag is this? Okay. New comments. New comment. On trans implementation, how many days we have the tooth without endo treatment, or we do immediately on trans autogenous transplantation? You mean how many days we have leave the tooth without endo treatment? Well, this is another nice question, guys. Follows. If you do intentional replantation, you can do the MTA as in the video, retrograde outside the tooth immediately inside the clinic, and you take only 15 minutes at maximum. But if you do autogenous transplantation, or sometimes when the tooth is avulsed and it come out of the socket and the patient bring the tooth to your clinic and you replant it again, please do not take more than 2 weeks. 2 weeks is the best time to start root canal treatment. The longer you keep the tooth without endo, the faster you will get resorption. And I had such cases before. Your thought on doing vital using MTAs in closed epics. For vital nowadays, if I can control bleeding and I see the pulp tissue under the microscope healthy, pink, stick to the canal wall, then I go for vital pulp therapy. You think we can treat all cases with no post to avoid? Well, last time I attended the course for Marco Martignon in Dubai. He said he does not recommend to put any post or fiber post or metal post in the molar teeth. But as I remember, for the premolar and the anterior teeth, you may need to put fiber post or even metal post. Why make the MTA go beyond the apex in wet canal? Well, as usually recommend that the MTA will help in regeneration or osteogenesis of the bone at the apical tissue. It could we call it as osteoinduction, osteoconductor material, as I remember. Okay. Okay, Chess, do you have another question? Chess, are you there? Chess? Hello?
Yes, you see the computer?
Yes, I see the computer. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Abu.
Welcome.
Okay, and
How
every
many
time
meters?
our webinar, we will have a lucky gift for dentists who join our course. This time, the gift is a Shise and Super Bright. We will choose it tomorrow. I have added a link for certificate on the comment, so if dentist friend who join this course need a certificate, please fill this form information, and we will supply for you soon. Thank you to join this non-cultural free problem webinar. Hope to see you all again. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Goodbye, cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye. Okay.